Hi everyone, and welcome to Creative Chelsey. Today I'm sharing with you my fourth alternative project using the July 2023 paper pumpkin kit called Fun in the Sun. This fun kit creates 9 cards, 3 in these 3 fun designs, and they each have this fun fold card design, which is really fun. If you're interested in watching me unbox this kit or making these original projects, you can click on the link up here in the top right corner, and that will take you to the playlist, which will also include some of my past alternative projects for this kit, as well as I'll add any of my future cards to that playlist as well. Today, I'm sharing with you another shaker card idea using the contents from the kit. I'm calling this a no border shaker card. So let's go ahead and get started. So to begin this card, we need to get these pieces from the kit. This is the sunset card base, and we're going to also get the sunset insert. And this is where we're going to add the shaker element, is over this insert. So there's a couple things we need to do to prepare for that. We're going to remove this blue section here and just do that along the score lines at the bottom and the top. And that's where the color change happens. So right here, it's a little harder to see, but we're going to go ahead and just cut. We're just removing this blue piece, so don't cut beyond this cut line here. And if you'd like more details on how to do this, you can check out my first alternative tutorial for these cards, because I do the same thing and I walk you through the step-by-steps on how to do this. Okay, so we've gone ahead and removed that section. Put this on hold. We're going to be using that for a future card soon. Here we're going to remove the front from the back on that score line, and that's going to give us that front piece for our card base. And then we also are going to pop up this sand piece here. So to do that, you actually need to fussy cut along this line. And so I'm going to fussy cut right above the white. So there will actually be a very small blue border connected to this sand here. And you want to go all the way across. Just like that. So we're going to now we need to have 4 pieces. So we have this back piece here that's just behind our chair. It does not have the shaker element. We have the front sand piece. We have our shaker element, but you might have noticed that we need to have a straight edge, and we're going to get that from the yellow. And then we're also going to trim off this white here because I want it to be seamless. So I'm going to do it this way, and just do your very best to trim right along that line. It doesn't need to be perfect, but we don't want to see any white. So just try to keep with the shape, the scallop shape. But if by chance it's a little bit smaller or just a little bit of a different angle or curve, that's okay. And go all the way down. Okay. So that piece is ready now. And we need to cut a piece for the yellow here at the top. So that is a 3.5 inch piece, and you're just going to pick maybe the shortest side. So let's do this side here, and maybe just do 1 inch. So we'll cut 1 inch off on that side. And then let's just cut it down to 3.5 inches. Okay. All right, so now we have our 4 pieces that you will need for our card. So I'm going to add them to a card base of thick, basic white cardstock. And I'm just going to kind of walk you through how to set these up. So the first piece I'm going to add is just the small left side and that's just going to go right onto my card base. No dimensionals or anything. Make sure to place it all the way up to the edges. There's not going to be any border. Another thing we need to do is attach the yellow strip to the back of our scallop. And we want to do it so that it's about the same distance, so that these two yellow scallops kind of meet up here. So I'm going to go ahead and lay this yellow piece on. I am not attaching it, just kind of laying it down so that it's in the right place. And then you can take a little bit of liquid glue and add it just to the tops of those scallops on the back. And then you're going to lay this on top. And there might be a little bit of movement or change that needs to happen. So if you need to pull out maybe some washi tape or something to hold things in place, you can. But the goal is to have everything line up where we want it to. So I'm kind of holding things in place and just attaching it like that. Okay, so do you see that? Just kind of held the yellow one in place as I added the scallops, and now it's its own piece here. Okay, just like that. So to create this no border shaker element, we're going to use another one of the clear envelopes. And I use this for my alternative number 2. If you didn't see that, that was also a shaker card. So I'm going to place this with the front side up inside my clear envelope all the way down to one side and to the bottom. And I'm going to leave, this is just some extra piece over here. So I'm going to add some tear and tape along this edge here that has no cardstock inside. And then I'm just going to fold it over. Actually, just to make things maybe a little easier, I'm just going to tape it down. So I'm just going to go ahead and fold it. And if you want to use a bone folder, you can do that. It will just make a nice crease there. And then you can take your tape and just tape it down, just like you normally would with regular tape. Just put a little bit along the edge and then some on the back. And like you can see there, it just holds it in place. Then you can remove that tape because we're going to fold up this bottom piece here. So I'm going to go ahead and remove. This is the flap, and it just has some adhesive there. So I'm going to remove that, push down on that folded area so that it adheres down, and then this piece just goes right up and is adhered onto that tear and tape. You do want to make sure that your edge doesn't go over on that side. So if by chance that's poking up, you can cut this off because you don't really need this here. You're not going to have any shaker element stick, which by the way, I just realized I have not added my shaker elements. So I'm going to go ahead and open this back up and add those. Here we go. Okay, so go ahead and add those shaker elements and then we'll fold it back. And I'm using these same ones that I used for my first shaker element card. And I'm going to use the pink ones. I like how they coordinate with that pink sunset there. When you add these, you want to make sure they go in front so that you're not putting them behind. You can add as many as you want. I'm going to do 3 big pinches, I think. These sequins are retired, but I did find them in the clearance section for really cheap. So if you maybe don't have anything that you can just add, you can definitely purchase those, and it's very inexpensive. Okay, so now we've got our no border shaker element. Super cute. I did notice that sometimes they will get stuck behind the scallop. On my original card, you can see here that I have a little green one that's stuck there, but I don't mind that. That's not a problem for me, and I just think it's a really cute idea. Most of the time when we do shaker cards, they need to have a border because we're adding window sheets and dimensionals and all of that stuff. But if we use a thin element like these sequins, these clear envelopes work really, really nicely for this technique. I'm just going to go ahead and cut this side here a little bit because it's poking out a little bit beyond the edge there. Okay. All right. So we are now going to add this to our card. I wanted this to pop up a little bit from the card base just to kind of make it feel special and give it that fun dimension. So I'm going to add some dimensionals. So once you have all those on, you can add this right to your card. There is not going to be a border. So make sure that it goes all the way up to the top and all the way down on the sides. So you can see how fun that is. So next we're going to cover up just that bottom a little bit and give our sand, put our sand back on our card. And I'm just using dimensionals for this as well. However, I did double it up. So that means that when you're adding it, you're going to want to put 2 dimensionals sandwiched together. And that's going to give just the right amount of space for this shaker element. Just making sure that I didn't get too close to that blue. And then here along the border, you can use some of these border pieces. And you'll want to do the same thing. Double it up. Let's do one more. Okay, so this card is going to be kind of thick, but it just makes it really fun to have all those layers. So then just make sure that you add it so that it hides the dimensionals, and you're going to want to be careful on this cut here because you cut it so that it's just perfectly covers it up. Okay, so make sure that it all comes together and it's nice and seamless. And then those shaker elements just kind of fall up and down depending on, you know, you're rotating the card and shaking it. Super fun. And I kind of like how they hide underneath the sand. And then they kind of disappear again behind the sand. It's a fun element, that's for sure. So once you've got your card base put together, you can really decorate this any way you'd like. I am going to use the little beach chair and a starfish. The beach chair I do want to have flush with my sand, and so that means I need to have it doubled up again. So 2 layers of dimensionals. You can use these side pieces as well because I'm just going to put it right here behind the center piece of wood. And then this piece here, I'm just going to have attached to the sand. So maybe a little bit of adhesive. I did add it at a slight angle. And I put that first piece right over that connection between the back and my shaker element. So it kind of hides where they meet just a little bit. Then you can take a glue dot. There's some that come in the kit, but I have these near me. So I'm just going to pop a glue dot on the back of my starfish and add that to the corner near the chair. And then for my greeting, I have one of this pale blue cardstock. This came from one of the card bases from my past alternatives. And I'm just going to go ahead and stamp my greeting, Hello Sunshine, in that azure afternoon again. I'm really loving this blue and how nicely it coordinates with these cards. So just stamp it close to the edge in the center. And then you can use your paper trimmer to trim it down to fit your greeting. And you can use, so it coming to about a 1/2 inch is about where I'm going to cut that. So it's a 1/2 inch by about 2 1/4 inches is the final dimension on that greeting. And I'm going to make a bow, and you can do a faux bow or you can tie a bow. I've got 10 inches of linen thread here. This was not in the kit. This is something that I have in my craft room. It's a staple. I love the look of linen thread, especially with this beach scene here. So you can just tie a little bow, pop some dimensionals on the back of your greeting, and you can add this anywhere. I like the idea of putting it in the water right about here, just above or just below that cute little sun that's setting, and then take another glue dot and you can add it to the back of your bow. And you can either tuck this underneath your greeting like I did on my first one, or you can just add it right to the corner of your greeting like that. So however you want to add that to your card. Just like that. And then if you want, you can add some of those clear embellishments. You can just have them be a little element. I'm going to move these ones in the sand, or you don't have to add them like I did here on the card I made with you. So totally your choice how you want to put together this cute no border shaker card. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching me create this fun card. If you'd like to get some written instructions or see close-up images on how I created this card, you can visit my blog, creativechelsey.com. If you would like to get your own monthly crafting kit, you can sign up to get Paper Pumpkin through the link in the description below. Thanks so much for watching. Have a creative day. Bye.